kicker is out.
Here we go. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Touchdown Talk. Sorry, a little technical difficulties at the top of the show here this morning, but we sorted it out. You know, this is what happens when you do a live show. Sometimes there's something running in the background. You just don't know. But hey, we are happy to be here with you on this Saturday morning here, Sunday football action, to bring you all the fantasy football talk that you can stand. That's right, and get you ready for your fantasy football action happening this weekend. I am joined by my awesome co-host, Mr. Pablo Martinez. How are you, my friend? Good morning.
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday, October 11th. Week 6 is here, and I'm pumped. I'm excited. We had a wonderful Thursday night football game.
So my gosh,
I'm ready for Sunday. I can't believe it.
Let's go Giants. You know, even if we don't win anything else for the rest of the year, I'm just happy we won that game. So I'm fine. I mean, at least I can see the future of the team now.
That was definitely a great game.
And it was supposed to be the Eagles' get-right game. So I love that we completely spoiled their get-right moments there. Love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So we got a lot to get to today. Of course, if you're watching us live right here on Facebook, the Touchdown Talk, or over on YouTube, feel free to drop in your fantasy football questions as we go along, because we'll be happy to answer them. Also, we're streaming live on Twitch and also Radio Garden State. So welcome all our Radio Garden State listeners. You could tune in and listen live on RadioGardenState.com as we do every Saturday morning during football season, starting at 10 a.m. And also now you could follow the show wherever you get podcasts, because we are now on every podcast platform, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the spots. We're all in all the podcast spots. So if you missed the show and maybe you're not on Facebook, YouTube, or maybe you're not listening on Radio Garden State, well, you can catch the show also on any podcast platform, so you could stream it. So we'll be uploading that pretty much like an hour after the show. That'll go up on all streaming platforms for your listening pleasure to listen to Touchdown Talk on the go. And get yourself ready for Fantasy Football Sunday, Week 6. Here we go. All right, let's start with some of the injury updates here, because, man, Week 6, and I feel like it feels like every starter in the league has gone down. I mean, running backs are getting decimated. We got quarterbacks going down. A lot happening right away. Looks like Lamar Jackson is going to miss another game here. So all you Lamar Jackson managers out there, looks like we got another week of Cooper Rush here. So he continues to be hampered by a hamstring injury here. Pablo, what do you think? I mean, there's not many moves you could do, right? If you don't have Cooper Rush, you should go for him. I mean, hopefully he'll be back soon, but those hamstring injuries, man, they linger. They linger.
Yeah, those are tough, and it stinks for those Lamar Jackson owners, managers. But if Cooper Rush is available, go out and get him. If you can find a better option, more power to you. But
right.
It's a difficult one, and it's difficult for all the skill position players out there. Right. As much as you would imagine, they're going to lean more on Derrick Henry. It hasn't been a great season for Derrick Henry with Lamar. So without him, it sounds like it would be even more challenging. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Now I got a quick question for you. I've been holding on to Rashad Bateman on my bench, but I mean, at this point, is it safe to just drop Rashad Bateman? I mean, is he just taking up bench space here, valuable bench space?
I mean, you never know when there's a quarterback switch if we're going to get surprised with a guy like Bateman, right? Zay Flowers is typically their wide receiver one, but when there's a quarterback switch, you start to see that connection that the backup quarterback has with those other wide receivers that are not typically the wide receiver one. So I would say maybe hold on one more week, but I don't.
Okay.
Bateman is one of those guys that is really, really difficult to trust. I don't know that it's going to happen this season, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. I've had him since the start. Really haven't started him at all, but I don't know, man. I'm getting twitchy. I think it's getting time to drop him and give up some valuable bench space. But wanted to get your thoughts on that one. But
Yeah,
thank
especially
you for
with
sharing.
buys and injuries coming up, it's really hard to keep holding on. But maybe one more week.
Yeah, so it looks like we're gonna have another weekend of Mac Jones, who who is it? Like, where did this version of Mac Jones come from? Holy cow! Yeah, Brock Purdy looks like he's gonna be missing again. That toe injury he's got still bothering him. I mean, I know we kind of laughed toe injury, but I got to tell you, man, watch how these quarterbacks move. Toe injury, very painful, very tough for quarterbacks to plant and throw the ball if they've got that. Toe injuries are painful. So, but it looks like Mac Jones is stepping in for another week. Now, I have heard also that he is now he's got a questionable tag because he's dealing with left knee and oblique injuries. So he is now questionable. Who's the next man up in San Fran in that quarterback room?
That's a really, really good question. I actually was looking through that earlier last week, but when I saw the names of the guys, I'm like, I don't know that I could really get behind that third string quarterback. But Mac Jones, he's been fantastic. He really has had great games. He has a very favorable matchup this weekend against Tampa Bay. And I think he's in line for another great fantasy point production. So for those managers out there that were able to hold on to Mac Jones, if you were the Purdy manager and you had Mac Jones as the backup, you haven't missed a beat. You've gotten exactly what Purdy was giving you. And I think Mac Jones has been great. I would definitely hold on to Mac Jones even once Purdy returns, because the uncertainty of the injury here might put Mac Jones back out there more than we would expect.
Right. No, listen, I can't believe it. He's actually, and last week, man, he was balling out. He had a game, and I was like, where did this version of Mac Jones come from? So, yeah, if you're a Mac Jones owner, hang on to him because he looks like he's getting a start, but is questionable. So I would keep an eye on that as things develop tomorrow morning. Maybe even tonight you may get, depending on how bad it is, but it seems like he wants to play, but I guess it depends how banged up he is. So other notable injuries here, of course, Bucky Irving not playing, Mike Evans, and now the man that I was so excited for, I even made a trade for him this week, Chris Godwin, out. Day to day, not sure. I mean, obviously a lot of chatter is that maybe he's done. Maybe they brought him back too soon. Maybe he needed more rest, all these different things. The injury apparently is not related to, it's a hamstring, not related to his fibula injury. So this is something that, is to watch. And I have Godwin on both my teams. But what a bummer. And I made a trade for him this week. Now, I needed a quarterback. I traded for Cam Ward because I have 2 week 8 quarterbacks on bye. So I needed somebody. I traded away Drake London. I figured, you know what, and I got enough firepower for now on my wide receiver core, I guess. But I thought at the time was a good trade because I like Godwin, and I was like, oh, he's back, he's going to ball, and now he's hurt again. So, but he is hurt, which does open up some potential for other wide receivers. So I went out and I picked up Sterling Shep. But I mean, you still got Ibuka, and he's the number 1 right now, and hopefully Shep will be number 2. We'll get some of that action, but yeah, what are your thoughts there, Pablo?
I think what's promising about Godwin, as bleak as the scenario looks now, is that they've said they don't want to put him on IR yet. Mm-hmm. So it's possible maybe he's just missing 1 week. Maybe they're going to keep an eye on it. Excuse me, and see how he progresses. But let's keep our fingers crossed. I know Godwin's a great player, and especially having Evans out, you would think, okay, this is the perfect scenario for Godwin to step in and help the team that's very depleted at the wide receiver position. So let's see how it goes. With Bucky Irving out, I would expect another strong week for Rachaad White.
Yep.
And especially with the wide receiving options not being all available, Rachaad White should be in line for some heavy production, both in the running game as well as maybe in the receiving game as well.
So another injury, well, I guess something to look at, another starter in this league, Kyler Murray. He was back at practice on Friday after he was sitting 2 days with a foot injury, but he's listed as questionable. So, and Jacoby Brissett, by the way, is the backup there. If Kyle Murray decides, he can't go, or they decide he can't go, but he is carrying a questionable tag going into Sunday with a foot injury. Pablo, if you are a Kyle Murray owner, then maybe you don't have any other options because it's we're starting bye weeks. Guys have been going down. Is it worth picking up Jacoby Brissett?
Oh, 100%.
In this league? Yeah.
I mean, if he's going to start, you don't have any other options, then yes. I mean, but let's set the landscape straight. In a single quarterback league, maybe Jacoby Brissett is definitely not somebody you would have to look towards. But in a superflex league, where there are going to be teams out there that have a third quarterback on their bench. If when you lose a guy like Kyler, you might not have a lot of great options. And if Jacoby Brissett is starting, he's definitely worth throwing out there. I would be cautious, tread lightly on that. There are some quarterbacks that can definitely be disappointing. Another quarterback move I'm sure we were going to bring up later, but I'll name him now, Joe Flacco.
Yep, that was going to be next.
He's stepping into an extremely, extremely difficult scenario going against an excellent Green Bay defense in Green Bay.
Yep.
On a new offense.
And Jamar Chase questionable with illness right now.
Yeah. So just to sum up here, Jacoby Brissett, I would definitely start him, but you gotta be cautious because a guy like Joe Flacco, I mean, oh man, he's going to have such a tough time.
Yeah.
I would definitely be very, very concerned.
Yeah, not a mobile quarterback at all. Very much a statue, and he's at 40 years old. I mean, listen, God bless him. He's out there. He's still doing it. He loves playing football, but against that tough Green Bay defense, man, he is not a guy that's going to move out of the pocket. He's not going to scramble. And I am, and also I have Chase in 2 leagues too. And after last week, we just talked about is it time to bench Chase? He did have a pretty good game. He actually had a pretty decent game despite Browning not being great, but they did get him the ball. He made some things happen. But now dealing with an illness, so trending right now, game time decision, which would mean that you could see the potential for T. Higgins to see some more action there, and also Andre. I think it's Isovas. I don't know. Isova. Yeah, there you go. So those would be 2 names to look at in the league if you're depleted at wide receiver. Take a look at that. Another notable. It looks like as far as Commanders, looking at the Washington Commanders, and Josh isn't on today, so I would love to have gotten his insight in this. But Noah Brown has returned. He returned to practice from a quad injury. He returned to practice. Quad injury has kept the Washington Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin from the field this week. Head coach Dan Quinn expressed confidence he'll be available Monday night against the Chicago Bears. So possibly Terry McLaurin coming back, maybe.
That would be important for Washington, but I would say they Debo's been doing pretty well in the wide receiving game, but they could use all the help they can get. So I hope to see Terry back on the field soon.
Yeah, that was also coming off of Yahoo Sports, by the way. That was a little bit of report from them. So, any other notable injuries here that I may have missed here, Pablo? Anybody else that you wanted to bring up?
I think you hit on the quarterbacks. I think that in the running game, Bucky Irving was the big one.
Well, Chuba Hubbard too is another one that just happened this week as well. He is out, so looking like Rico Dowd is another week who's been having a good run so far.
Yeah, he had a great game last week and a spot start. He has another favorable matchup coming up. So I would say, Chuba Hubbard being ruled out, definitely worth throwing Dowdle out there if you're running back needy, even as a flex start.
Yeah.
That's definitely not a bad option to have.
And Brenton Strange, who I loved, I picked him up on tight end, is now out on IR. So that's another notable loss there. Who was actually becoming a pretty decent target down there in Jacksonville. So. There's a lot of nice tight ends still out there. I mean, even in our league, I see some good tight end names still out there on the waiver wire if you're looking for tight ends. But if that was somebody that you had, like me, kind of sucks. I was really liking starting him, especially over. I had Evan Engram, and I liked starting him over Evan Engram over these last bunch of weeks.
Yeah, it's a shame. Strange had to come out with that injury, but what are you gonna do? Sometimes injuries happen, and I'm drawing a blank right now on the tight end that took his place there, but we'll check that out. And I think he had that. I'm remembering a Monday night catch there where the
hip injury,
where the tight end, the backup tight end, did pretty well. So that's if we need that is definitely a good spot start if we were that Strange manager.
Yeah, and also real quick too, Alvin Kamara running a questionable tag right now going into Sunday. If you're a Kamara owner, you may want to keep looking at that. Right now, questionable. Of course, Omarion Hampton, another big loss. He's out. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Chargers are going to do in that running back room because they definitely have some options there. And I think that's kind of it for the most of them. Brock Bauer still out. That's another one. Ricky Pearsall still out. Christian Watson out. Yeah, I think those are the big ones. So, all right, let's move on to some of our start sits for this week. So, looking at some of the matchups here that we got going on, let's go through some quarterbacks. Let's take a look at our quarterback room here for start sits. Basically, right now, some favorable matchups, which has been interesting. Obviously, if you have Jordan Love on your team, that is somebody you should absolutely be starting this week. We were just talking about that. Going into that Bengals defense is banged up. Their offense is banged up. I mean, Green Bay should feast. They should feast. Should be some big points.
They more than likely will do pretty well. I still like the opportunity for a couple of those Cincinnati Bengal players, but Green Bay is in line to have a good game.
Yeah, and another name here, and even though I'm not a Dallas Cowboys fan, from a fantasy perspective though, Cowboys offense has actually been putting up a lot of points. So right now you got Dallas playing Carolina. Carolina's defense has been really bad. So starting Dak Prescott would be a good start this week.
Yeah, Dak's had some really strong games back-to-back weeks recently. So yeah, I think he's definitely going to continue that momentum. He's been doing this without CeeDee Lamb, which was the big surprise because you would expect losing such an elite weapon would hurt the fantasy production of the quarterback. But no, he hasn't been seemed to have been affected yet by that, and the team's been doing well.
Yeah, and of course, a big start. If you started him this week, man, you won big. Jackson Dart. We haven't talked much about the Giants yet. That was a Thursday night game. Obviously, a little irrelevant now because it's past Thursday, but hopefully, if you had Jackson Dart in your lineup, like I know Ken did, you walked away with some really, really nice fantasy points this weekend, as well as Cam Scatterboo, by the way.
Yeah, those rookies both did excellent, especially Scatterboo. But it was really great to see Dart perform on a primetime game in the lights, and did not disappoint. Came out resolving that first touchdown run, figuring out how to get through that defense like a pro. He was not a rookie.
No, absolutely. He was great. I mean, in our league, Ken had him, and he put up about just under 30 points, fantasy points, Jackson Dart.
Yeah,
so
he did.
Not too shabby.
No, he did very, very well. Yeah, in the Dirt League, the scoring system's a little different. He put up 23, but still great production, and especially very, very promising future. You would expect, not only from a fantasy perspective, but in real football, this kid's going to do well.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Obviously, some other ones, too, I think are no-brainers. Matt Stafford, who I know going into the season, everybody was skeptical on. But, man, he has been really heating up, and they are playing Arizona this weekend. So that is somebody you should absolutely be starting right now, Matthew Stafford. And I've had him now since the start of the season. I picked him up. People are questioning that pickup. I'm glad, question away, because I am reaping the benefits of having Matthew Stafford. Hopefully he can stay healthy at the rate of all these quarterbacks going down, but he is a definite start this week.
Yeah, he's been doing very well. I think he's going into Baltimore.
Sorry. Yep, Baltimore. You're right.
So, but still a very, very favorable matchup. So everybody's surprised. I had preseason. I had Baltimore as one of the top teams in the division, and right now it's not looking like that at all. They're just not finding their way, and their defense that was typically always very strong has not been able to hold back other teams. And for fantasy purposes, their defense, special teams, has not been putting up points either. Not a defense that you would want to hold on through a bye or anything like that. Definitely one of those teams that you can look past when searching for defenses to start.
Yeah. Now let's talk about another name that we've been talking about this almost every week, man. Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones continues to impress being on the Indianapolis Colts. It's been really fun to see them and watch, just watch him basically come back from the dead, essentially, from being basically kicked off the Giants last year to finding redemption here in a team that actually seems to be a good fit for him. Is that somebody you are firing up this week? If you've got Daniel Jones, is he 100% somebody you need to be starting?
Well, the quarterback landscape is definitely difficult. So it's hard to bench somebody like Daniel Jones. He's got a matchup against Arizona, who against quarterbacks is not the easiest matchup to have. He actually has a couple of games coming up that are a bit challenging in a row. But I'd still keep faith in Daniel Jones. He's been winning a lot of games. That's the big plus for him. He's actually winning games on the field. For fantasy production, he's been very good. He hasn't had those elite games like Dak had a couple back-to-back weeks with 35-plus points. But Daniel Jones is still getting it done, and he's still putting the ball in his skill position players' hands. So the rest of the team is also producing. I would definitely start Daniel Jones if I had him on my team.
All right, there you go. Here's a couple other names. Do you start or sit? Want to get your opinion on him. Sam Darnold. Are you starting or sitting Sam Darnold this week?
I actually have Sam Darnold on one of my teams, and I'm debating that right now. He's been fantastic. He's been great. It's hard to think about benching him because of how well he's done. The fear for me is I don't know if he's going to be a set it and forget it type of quarterback.
Right.
I still want to watch out for a difficult matchup, an away game. He might be one of those guys that I want to stream depending on the weekend if it's favorable. But it's getting harder and harder to consider benching him because of how well he's doing. He's been great.
Right. No, I'm with you on that. And here's another name here for you. This one to me is I always feel like I guess if you don't have anybody else, then this is your option and you got to roll with it. But Bryce Young, and we just talked a little bit about Carolina's defense, and obviously they've now lost Chuba, but they do have Rico Dowell, which he's been great. So, but Bryce Young, is he someone? I guess if you have other options, maybe you sit him. But if you don't, I guess you don't have a choice, right?
He's a tough one. He's definitely a tough one. He's been struggling, but I see some improvement in the kid's game. He's won a couple of weeks in real football. He's had some bad fantasy production weeks, but
right.
He's got a really favorable matchup. He's playing against Dallas. Dallas is the defense that is giving up the most points to quarterbacks for fantasy this year. So, I think you could do worse. I definitely think you could do worse than Bryce Young.
Yeah.
I would start him if I had to, for sure.
All right. Well, there you go. All right. We got a question in from YouTube. Ken coming in. Bryce Young against Dallas could be explosive.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No
could
joke.
be. I mean, Dallas does not have a good defense. I mean, their offense has been putting up good fantasy points, but their defense is also not good.
Yeah. Russell Wilson looked amazing against Dallas.
Yes, you are. You're absolutely right. Yeah, Russell Wilson had a game of his life, had a career game against Dallas this year. All right, so question here from Mo Diesel. He's saying start 3. So out of these 3, start 3. Waddle, Worthy, Rashad White, ETN, Hawkins, Stevenson, and he's in a half PPR league.
All right. A lot of names there.
Well, I think Rashad White, definitely. That's one.
Lock it in. Yep.
Ramondre Stevenson too. I'd fire him up.
Okay, I'm iffy on Ramondre. He's had a couple of games where he's made me doubt, so that's why seeing all the other options, I'm I might be with you on that,
Yeah.
but I'm not necessarily sure.
I guess I have to ask which ETN, because I feel like there's like 5 ETNs. There's a lot of ETNs in the league right now.
Totally fair question.
It's so funny. Waddle, I mean, we don't know. You don't know what you're gonna get at Tua, right? I mean, so it's like
he's the de facto number 1 now, so I have a hard time benching Waddle.
I mean, I wouldn't bench him, but do you trust him to put up enough fantasy points to make a difference in your lineup?
I mean,
against Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Yeah, because Worthy's a really good option as well.
He's pretty much, and he's right now. I guess the Chiefs don't have many offensive weapons at the moment because Rashid Rice he's not back yet.
No, not this week. I think that's coming up next week.
Yeah.
So maybe I do lean definitely White. Maybe ETN has had Travis Etienne on the Jaguars. He's had really good games.
He has.
So what are your thoughts on starting ETN over one of those wideouts, Waddle or Worthy?
I think I would go with Worthy.
Yeah.
I just have a hard time trusting Tua. I mean, Waddle's still, but I think I would go with Worthy. And I don't know what the numbers have been over the last few weeks, so I'd have to go back and look at that too. But I'm just going on gut here. I think I would start Worthy.
All right. So your 3, White, Worthy, and Stevenson.
And he's saying he has Kelsey too, by the way. So hey, well that's good. So then and who's your QB? I'm interested to know who your QB is.
Yeah, that's always something I actually weigh in on as well because of I like to stack QBs and
of
wide
course
receivers together.
I mean, if you have Mahomes, then hey, look at that, you got.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I hopefully that helped there, Mo Diesel. All right, let's move on to still on our start sits here. Let's go into running backs. We touched on this a little bit. We were just talking about Miami. Oh, he has Hurts, by the way. Mo Diesel has Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
So you didn't have a good Thursday. Stacked AJ Brown. Got it. Yeah, not a very good Thursday night for you though. I mean, I think some points, but not. Well, I'm sure what you wanted.
Hurts did okay. Brown didn't. But
yeah. All right. So we were just talking about Miami a little bit and their offensive woes, but Devon Achane, that is somebody you absolutely have to be firing up in your lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been averaging about 17 touches a game, averaging right now. I mean, that's really good.
Yep, and he's an electric player, and I think that he would be one of those. I think all the offensive skill position players in Miami get a boost with Tyreek missing the rest of the season. So Achane's definitely one of those guys that is going to get more work on the field. I would definitely want to start him.
Right. Javonte Williams, running back in Dallas. We were just talking about Dallas a little bit in that offense, and they haven't put up fantasy points. Javonte Williams, that is somebody that, in my eyes, you should be absolutely starting. He leads right now all NFL running backs with 25 runs for first downs. And he is going up against that Panthers defense, which is not great.
He's been absolutely amazing this season. He's a must start. Definitely is paying off for all of those teams that drafted him, all those teams that traded for him early. Good for you. He's an absolute must start at the running back position.
Yeah. Rico Dowd, we were just talking about him. Carolina, of course, with Chuba down. But he has been, last week he had a 20, he had he had a really good game last week. And by the way, the Cowboys have also given up a league high 299 receiving yards to running backs.
Yeah.
And he's been a good pass catcher.
Yeah, I would start him for sure this week. He had an excellent game last week, very unexpected, but very, very good game. And he has a really, really sweet matchup against Dallas. So, yeah. Fire him up. Yeah,
I was trying to make a trade for him with my brother, but he wasn't going for it. I was trying. I'm like, dude, you gave me that freaking bust. Not that he knew. That's the shit you take, you know. I mean, who knew?
Cookie crumbles. Yeah.
That's how it goes. Michael Carter, Arizona. Is this the guy you are starting this week? Do you trust him? You starting him in Carolina and right now playing in place of injured Trey Benson. is he somebody you're going to fire up this week? Is he a start for you, or is he somebody you might sit?
If I had a different option from a different team that had a better matchup, I might consider sitting him. But here's what I think about Carter. He's in line to get the bulk of the work in Arizona right now. DeMarcado failed the team last week.
He did.
So he's likely going to have to work his way back up to earn reps and carries. And they're not going to. I'm sure they're not just going to ban him from the field, but Carter's in line to at least have the opportunity to have the bulk of the carries. So right. And in fantasy football, opportunity sometimes just outweighs several other aspects. So if you have if you have a player who's going to get those opportunities, a lot of times they end up producing a lot of fantasy points, even if the matchup wasn't so favorable, even if they're not as skilled as some other options. The opportunity is everything, really.
Yeah, great point. Here's a couple other names before we move on to some wide receiver action here. Does DeAndre Swift, is he somebody you fire up? Is he somebody you would consider starting, or is he somebody you would sit this week? Playing at Washington defense, who has been pretty good against the run.
Yeah, it's a tough one. That's a tough one. I want to say if you you don't have better options, you could do a lot worse. But Swift hasn't been a guy who's been winning you any weeks.
He's been dead last in rushing yards.
Yeah, it's hard if you don't have a better option because he's a starter and he's not a bad football player.
Averaging 3.3 yards per carry.
Yeah, he just simply has not been getting it done.
Yeah.
So if that's the best you could do, then pinch your nose and throw him in there. But if you could find something else, maybe you'd be better off.
All right, here's one more name here for you, my friend. Hassan Haskins, the Chargers. O'Marion Hampton down on IR. Right now, they've kind of got a little bit of running back weird committee going on. Hassan Haskins, Kamani Vidal. And they also brought in Nyheim Hines, and they also have Amar Johnson. So, is Hassan Haskins somebody you want to fire up this week?
So here's what I think about Haskins. The matchup is favorable. They're going to get up against Miami. Is it going to be Haskins? I think so.
Yeah.
I definitely think that Haskins
or Vidal
is the. But yeah, and see that's where it is. Or I don't think Hines is. He hasn't played football in quite a bit. So
yeah, I can't, and that would have to be to me like an extreme, like both these guys go down, or like maybe just to give for one rep or something like that. But I can't see him going in.
No, and I think Haskins will get more opportunity over Kamani Vidal, but we'll see. If I had to bet on one of those two, it would be Haskins.
Yeah, they're going into Miami, so Miami's Miami's bad. They're a bad football team. They got some good players for fantasy perspective, but as a football team, they're not very good. Yeah. All right, let's move into some wide receiver names real quick, and then we'll move on to going into some of our picks. Odunze. Is he somebody you want to... Rome Odunze, is he somebody you want to fire up this week? I'd say yes. He is the number one receiver in Chicago.
Absolutely. Yeah. What a really great surprise. He didn't have a fantastic year last season, but he definitely has been wonderful this year. And I would be happy to start him. I would be happy to have him on my team. I think he's one of those wide receivers that unless you're loaded at the wide receiver position, you have to start him every week.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I have DJ Moore, and I think they've been spreading the ball, but he's somebody I wish I'd had on my team, but I do not. I do not.
I thought it would be DJ Moore over Rome Odunze, but it hasn't been. It's been the other way around.
Now, we just talked about this a little bit with one of the questions we got from online, but Xavier Worthy going into Detroit, but Detroit's missing two of their starting quarterbacks. Terrion Arnold and DJ Reed, both out, not playing. This could be very favorable for Xavier Worthy. He was out 2 games with a shoulder injury, but before he went out, he had 17 targets, and he was 3 for 47. He was doing pretty good. He was having pretty good until he went out on a shoulder injury. But when we were talking about this, I mean, this is somebody I would fire up for sure. I mean,
Absolutely.
especially this matchup, knowing that Detroit's two starting cornerbacks are gone for this week.
Absolutely. Yeah. The matchup is wonderful. I think he has a couple weeks after that he gets Vegas. I think that that they do have Rashee Rice coming back next week against Vegas, but for this week, I definitely think Worthy is an excellent start.
Yeah, absolutely. We also talked about another name here, Jalen Waddle. This is somebody who, on the year so far, 6 passes for 110 yards and a touchdown on 9 targets. Sorry, that's not on the season. That's in his first game since Tyreek Hill went down. So he had a nice little workload. But they're going in and they're playing the Chargers this week. So we did talk about firing him up. And by the way, we didn't talk about this real quick, but Tua is dealing with a thumb injury on his throwing hand. So something to watch there potentially. So he's dealing with a thumb injury. But, I mean, right now he is playing, but, does he play the whole game? Does he injure that thumb more? I mean, those are all the risks you got to take. But does that affect them, getting Jalen Waddle that ball?
Yeah, no, the risk is there, and especially because Tua brings his own risk always from a health perspective. But I'd still feel very comfortable playing Waddle. He's an explosive player. Now the de facto wide receiver 1. I would throw him out there if I had him on my team.
All right, well, there you go. All right, a couple more names here, and then we'll move on here. Quentin Johnson, Chargers. He's been sharing targets with Ladd McConkey and Keenan Allen. So what do you think? Is this guy... He's averaging 9 targets a game and had at least 7 in each of the last bunch of games. In week 5, he only had 4 targets. Allen had 9. McConkey had 7. So is this a guy that you want to fire up?
Yeah, for sure. This has to be my favorite wide receiver room in the NFL right now. With the addition of Keenan Allen, the unexpected strong presence of Keenan Allen threw us all off. Right? Who was the wide receiver 1 in preseason? We were all thinking Ladd McConkey would be.
Everybody. I mean, during the draft, Ladd McConkey, he was going early.
Who had Quentin Johnson on their radar as the number 1 receiver in LA? No one. And
no one.
The guy. He's been fantastic. He's been great. He's been the better wide receiver for fantasy purposes so far this season. Is that going to stay that way? Hard to tell because all 3 of them are doing very well. Mm-hmm. So the Chargers are blessed with a great problem, which is that they have many great options at the wide receiver position. Quentin Johnson is still a guy that I would not touch off of my starting lineup until we start to see a lot of bad games in a row, which I don't think will happen. So I would definitely keep him in my lineup.
All right, there you go. Michael Pittman Jr. Is he a guy you're going to fire up this week if you got him? He is largely touchdown driven with his fantasy value, but he ranks 25th in receiving yards among wide receivers. He's had 4 touchdowns in 5 games, but he's managed to do that. And this is all coming, by the way, off of Fantasy Pros. Just want to give credit where credit's due. But he's only had 4 touchdowns in 5 games. He's managed to do that despite only 4 red zone targets. But is that a guy? Fire him up. Is he on your bench? Should you start him? Should you sit him?
He's got Daniel Jones throwing the ball, and I think that's it's been hot and cold so far this season. Pittman hasn't really been having blow up monster games. He had a couple of really, really good games, but then he's had a couple of games where he was like meh.
Yeah.
So I would definitely try to keep him in my lineup if I could. I think you could do worse.
All right. Well, there you go. All right. 2 more names here for you, then we'll move on. Chris Olave. And he's somebody I'm starting this week because I am a little hurting at wide receiver, and I had to go. So he's been on my bench on and off throughout the season. But Chris Olave, is he a guy that you would fire? Like I said, I had to fire him up this week. I'm a little light, and I have some guys out on bye this week. But he is averaging 10.8 targets a game, and he's averaging just 4.5 yards per target. And, of course, Spencer Rattler, the gunslinger down there.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem.
He hasn't reached 60 receiving yards, by the way, in any receiving games. I'm not excited about starting him this week. I'm not pumped.
No. I mean, I'm looking at a half PPR league right now, and his fantasy production has been between 7.5 and 10. So he's really not helping you win any games. But at the same time, as a flex option, hitting that close to 10-point mark is not terrible either. He has I think that's kind of his floor. It's been his
Right.
floor so far this year. So I think that he's an excellent player. And if you had to throw him out there this week, keep your fingers crossed. Maybe Rattler finds a way to get it done against New England, and Olave has a bigger game. Long-term outlook for Olave, I hope he gets traded. I hope that he finds a different team where he can really.
I wish actually the Giants would trade for him, to be honest with you.
That would be fantastic.
Would be great. I mean, we know that New Orleans could use a quarterback. We got two that are looking for starting jobs, and you know what? We could use a little help. And he's still a good receiver. I mean, he can make plays happen. He's had some injuries, been injury prone and all that. But I wouldn't mind taking him on for a season, especially if the Giants. Maybe I'm not going to get too excited, but hey, you never know. You never know, man. Things happen.
Never know.
All right, one last name here for you. Romeo Doubs. See a guy you should be starting this week. We just talked about the Cowboys' defense not being great, but the target distribution in Green Bay is a little, it's a little over the place. But could this be a week where Romeo Doubs sees a lot of passes his way?
He had a really, really great game against the Cowboys a couple weeks ago. This week he's playing against Cincinnati. Cincinnati is not good. So no. I do see how Dobbs has a really, really strong performance. There's definitely a clear path for that. I would certainly start him if I had him on my team.
There you go. All right. That's our start and sits for this week. Let me see. I think I had this brought up too. While we got a little bit of time, I know we want to get to our picks for the week. But defenses, you might want to be starting this week if they're out there. I would definitely say we just talked about this. Green Bay defense is definitely a defense you should be looking at starting this week, 100%.
Yeah, they're my number one defense. I hate to say it, but I think they're just gonna demolish poor Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I think Joe Flacco is gonna be definitely hurting this week. I definitely feel like he's gonna be hurting. New England defense. There's been a lot of chatter online about people saying low key be starting that New England defense this week.
They've been pretty good. They definitely have been pretty good, and they're going up against Spencer Rattler and in New Orleans,
right? Which we just talked. I know they had a day against the Giants last week. We all saw that happen in real time, but don't be fooled.
Yeah,
the Giants had a really bad game,
but I think you can definitely play the Pats defense this week.
How do you feel about starting the Raiders this week against the Titans?
I like it. I actually have the Raiders in one of my leagues. I picked them up because of their matchup this week against Tennessee. Tennessee's offense has been giving up a tremendous amount of points to fantasy defenses, and that's been working well for me in some leagues where I just try to find those offenses that are just not getting it done, and trying to see who the defense is each week and picking up, a different defense each week, targeting that same offense. Tennessee's been one of them. And, I think Vegas this week, their defense special teams will do well.
All right. I like that. Pittsburgh, starting a Pittsburgh D over the Browns. I think that's a pretty wise choice.
Yeah. We have the rookie quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, who had a good game last week, but, second week as the starting quarterback, they're playing in Pittsburgh. I think the Pittsburgh D is definitely going to come after him.
I do too. We have a Sunday morning game tomorrow starting 9:30 a.m. Denver Broncos versus the winless New York Jets. I think this is a no-brainer, right? Starting the Denver Broncos D over that. I mean, I know the Jets have kept some games pretty close, but still, the Jets offense has just been they're zero. They're a goose egg team.
Yeah, definitely start Denver's defense. They're playing in London, so that travel might affect a little bit. players here and there, but still a strong play to start that Denver defense this week.
Yeah. And last one here, how do you feel about starting the Colts against the Arizona Cardinals?
So the Colts against Arizona. Well, I would like to start the Colts no matter what happens with Arizona's quarterback, but especially if Kyler sits, they get a boost in my rankings. That Colts defense will definitely have a day in Indianapolis against a potential Jacoby Brissett led Arizona offense. So we'll see what happens.
There you go. All right, guys. Well, there you go. Those were your start and sits for the week, as well as defenses to stream. We're going to move on to doing our picks as we do in our leagues. We have the League of Extraordinarily Mediocre People, and then our Dirt League. We go through these lineups and we pick them. We're going to move this along, since there's only 2 of us today. We're going to move this along pretty fast. But once again, if you got any fantasy questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we will answer them as we go. Of course, for all you Radio Garden State listeners out there, if we go past 11 o'clock, you can also switch over to Facebook and YouTube to continue watching and listening. Or, once again, get us on any podcast platform, Spotify, Apple, all the spots. We're everywhere and anywhere. YouTube podcast, we are there because we will upload the show about an hour or so after we're done. So if you miss any part of this and want to go back and listen to any of this, you could do that over anywhere you get podcasts. And also hit that subscribe button right now if you're watching on YouTube, so that way you get notified every time we go live. That little bell, hit the like, share this with a friend, all your fantasy football friends. Tell everybody about The Touchdown Talk. Follow us over at The Touchdown Talk NJ over on Instagram. And of course, follow our Facebook page too, The Touchdown Talk. All right, let's do it. Let's move into it here. We're going to start with our LOEMP League of Extraordinarily Mediocre People. Pablo, as we do each and every week, can you remind everybody how this league is set up?
All right, League of Ordinary, League of Extraordinary.
Extraordinary.
Yes, 12-team league. We have a super flex here, full PPR, starting 3 wideouts. It is a keeper league, so just to reference that, we kept players from last season. That's something to think about as we start to get to the midpoint of the season. This is a time of the year where you start to think about who you want to keep for next year. Who's on your team already, who's not on your team, and maybe you just want to make a trade now so that you can lock that guy in to keep him for next season. But anyway,
now one thing to note here in our league, we have 8 2-3 teams, including me. I'm one of them.
Yeah. This is
bonkers.
How tight and how close this season has been. 4 teams at the top have had a little more luck and had a little more success, but 8 teams out of 12 with the same record. So first place is separated by only 2 wins from last place.
That's right. So we got Team Keg sitting in first place at 4-1. Manja Magic sitting at 4-1. Bark at the Moon, your team, my friend, sitting at 3-2. Suck My Dicka at 3-2, and my team at 2-3 in a number 5 spot. And a number 6, Keith's cool team at 2-3. And as we said, 8 2-3 teams. So this is a crucial week for a lot of these teams. Our game of the week, as chosen by Yahoo, because we're on a Yahoo Fantasy Sports here, is CD's Nuts versus Manja Magic. So let's start with that one. Right now, projections are in Manja Magic's favor, 152-132. Looking at our starting QBs on both sides, CD's Nuts, Spencer Rattler, and Manja Magic starting with Kyler Murray, who right now, as we were talking about, is questionable to play at the moment. So she may be having to make a move. Just looking down here, wide receivers, Devontae Smith, Marvin Harrison, Garrett Wilson, Rashid Shaheed, Xavier Worthy, Brian Thomas, Zach Charbonnet, Saquon, who did not have a very good fantasy game, 58 rushing yards, did not do Manja Magic any favors. But looking down here at our super flex spots, this is a big difference maker here. On one side, we got Khalil Shakir versus Jordan Love. So that's, and we were talking all about, I think Jordan Love's going to have a big game. All right, looking at what we've got here, Pablo, which way are you feeling here? Who's going to be your pick?
So I think I'm going to lean with Manja Magic, but, that Kyler Murray start is definitely going to need a lot of attention, because he doesn't have a second quarterback, or I should say a third quarterback to throw him in. So she'd be having to move Jordan Love to the quarterback position and then throwing out your best option, maybe a wide receiver, maybe a running back, into that super flex spot.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, too. I feel like, though, even if Kyler Murray doesn't play, I mean, if she moves Jordan Love up, I think Jordan Love's going to have a big game. I think Spencer Rattler's going to have a hard time against that New England defense, so I don't know how much he's going to get done. I don't think he's going to hit his projected 21 points in my eyes, but that's my gut feeling. I feel like Manja Magic pulls this one out as well. I think she's going to have a clear path to victory.
All right. Good luck, Dunn.
Yep, good luck, Dunn. Makes a... You know what? And he slept on it. He should have made that Joe Flacco move. I mean, he came in our chat and was like, "Oh, he could, and he had, because he had a number 2 waiver wire pickup this week. Could have had Joe Flacco." Just saying. All right, we'll go from the top down here. So that was Yahoo's game of the week. This week, my team, Goff My Lawn, at 2-3, sitting in number 5 spot, versus my brother's team, Swift Kick in the Pits, also sitting at 2-3 in a 9 spot. Looking at our lineups here, Jared Goff versus Bo Nix, Jamar Chase, who right now is carrying a questionable tag going into Sunday, so I got to watch that, versus Tet McMillan, George Pickens, Cortland Sutton, Chris Olave, as we were talking, the newly acquired Drake London from my team, James Cook, Ashton Genty, I did make a pickup with Emmanuel Wilson. That was one. I'm very decimated at the running back room, but he was somebody I felt like might get some good looks this week. He actually had a few good looks last week versus Kenneth Walker. And then going down, I did pick up Sterling Shepard this week with, of course, as we were talking about Chris Godwin going down. So he should be the number 2 there in Tampa. And, of course, if you look at our super flex, Matthew Stafford versus Dylan Gabriel. And I am starting a Seattle D, by the way, versus Jax, and he's starting Green Bay. But your thoughts on this, Pablo? Who do you think is going to take it this week?
So I think Swift Kick in the Pits definitely has a strong hand right here with that Green Bay defense. Dylan Gabriel is maybe the biggest question mark, but still he's got a lot of great options. He's got Rico Dowdle on his bench, while you unfortunately had to leave Chuba Hubbard out of your lineup because he won't be playing this week. So, yeah, he's got a lot going on for him. I think that would be my pick here.
Yep, tried to make a trade for Rico Dowdle, too, with him. And after I made a trade and got Chris Godwin, and I had to pick up a quarterback because I got 2 guys out, Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford, both out week 8. So, but, yeah, I feel like I've got a really big uphill battle this week. But I will still pick my team because I'll be optimistic because anything can happen in the NFL.
Of course. It's tough to make a trade with the team you're playing against because he's going to give you firepower to start against him.
Yeah.
Not likely to want to do that this week. Maybe next week.
We'll try again. All right, here we go. Scataboom versus Team Keg. Ken's team having a nice start. Going up against the number 1 right now, our first place league. In our league, Team Keg. Jackson Dart was his starting QB, and we got Baker Mayfield on the side. Abuka, who, as we were talking about, number 1 in Tampa, going up against Cooper Kupp, Lad McConkey, Keon Coleman, Calvin Ridley, Rome Dunze, Devon Achan, Jamar Gibbs, Cam Skataboo, 31 big points for him, 98 yards rushing. Big night for Cam Skataboo going up against Jonathan Taylor. And if we go right all the way down to our super flex here, we got Bryce Young versus DJ Indiana Jones. We're looking at Los Angeles D versus that New England D. So right now, projections are in Scataboom's favor, 177 to 155. Already got 60 big points on the board. Woo! Nice start here for Scataboom. How you feeling about this, Pablo?
For me, it's Scataboom all the way. He's off to a monster start with the rookies from the New York Giants. And I want to point one thing out about Cam Skataboo. This was the best trade of the season so far in this league.
Yeah.
He traded for Cam Skataboo early on before he really blew up. And now, this Thursday night performance, a hat trick, 3 rushing touchdowns. It's wonderful to see. This is the type of league winner that everybody wants on their team. Good for you, Ken, for locking him up. I think you're in line for great success. Jackson Dart is not disappointing either, so he's off to a great start. He'll be my pick for this week.
There you go. I am also going with Scataboom as well. I think he will take this win and move into an impressive 3-3 and deliver Team Keg another loss, giving him 4-2. All right, your team, my friend, Bark at the Moon, sitting in a number 3 spot there versus Go Suck a Dak, who's sitting in the last place. That's Kevin Williams' team. Right now, you are projected 146 to 137. You had Jalen Hurts go the other night. Still, put up some pretty good yards, 283 passing yards, 24 completions, one passing TD. You got 28, almost 29 points out of that. Looking across here, he's starting Drake May, and then we go down Debo, Quentin Johnson, all these names we've been talking about. Devontae Adams got him fired up this week. Stephon Diggs, T. Higgins. Good pick for you, my friend, especially if Jamar Chase does not play. Going up against Matthew Golden, Chase Brown, Trayvon Henderson, J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey. And then looking down at our super flex spots, Trevor Lawrence and Dak Prescott. And you got Vegas D, the Raiders D, and he's got Tennessee D. That's pretty funny. You guys are going up against each other with the respective defenses. How you feeling, my friend? I'm looking down this lineup, and I'm feeling pretty good for you. I know Debo's carrying a questionable tag right now, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's the big one I got to watch out for. What happens with Debo? I hope he plays. I'm happy with the Thursday night game from Hurts. There were a couple of tush pushes there that helped me out, so that worked out well. But overall, it's going to be a close matchup here. So we'll see. I really think that for my team, it's going to come down to Trevor Lawrence. He had a really, really great game last weekend.
Yeah.
But can he keep that up? He hasn't been like one of those, stud quarterbacks that win you weeks. Dak's been doing much, much better. So I think that Superflex matchup will really tell the tale at the end of the day.
Yeah, now Quentin Johnson was somebody we were just talking about. Now, right now, he is dealing with a hamstring injury at the moment. He's listed as questionable. His stats will be clarified 90 minutes before Sunday's 1 p.m. kickoff. So for anybody out there who has Quentin Johnson, definitely something to monitor. It looks like the hamstring came during practice this week. So keep an eye on that, because it sounds like it's going to be a real game time decision, which would then really affect Willie here. I know you're dealing with your own when it comes to Debo, but he may have to make some decisions there. And he's a little, he doesn't have too many wide receiver. He's got Alec Pierce on his bench, which, I almost picked up Alec Pierce myself, but I went and picked up Shepard instead.
I think he also has Keenan Allen on his team, so that would,
okay, missed that one.
Yeah, that would also, to me, that would give Keenan Allen a boost, and
yeah,
he could
true.
also put him in the wide receiver position to then open up any other player to throw in that flex spot. I think Willie's going to be okay, but hopefully not doing too well. The one guy I'm excited about this week is my tight end Darren Waller.
Yes, Darren Waller.
Really hopeful that the sky's the limit for Darren Waller going forward. He looked great. He looked like he hadn't missed a game, even though we all know he's been out of the league for quite a bit. I hope it wasn't a mirage. I'm gonna keep him in my starting lineup and hope for the best this week.
All right, there you go. So I'm also going to choose your team, my friend. I will go a Bark at the Moon to be victorious this week. All right. We've got Grudy McGrudenface versus Suck My Dicka. Josh's team sitting 2-3 in the 7th spot, and Tina's team sitting at 3-2 in the number 4 spot. Looking down the lineups here, Patty Mahomes versus Justin Fields, Puka Nacua versus Amon-Ra St. Brown, JSN, Jackson Smith-Nigma versus going up against Jacoby Myers, Jerry Jeudy, Hollywood Brown, Breece Hall, Isaiah Pacheco, Bill, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, Bill, I still love that, Jerome Ford, and then looking down in Superflex, Sam Darnold going up against Jaden Daniels, and then he's starting Washington D, and unfortunately Tina started a Philly D, which at that time seemed like a really good start, but did not do her any favors at all. Right now, Josh's team, Grudy McBrudenface, projected winner 153 to 122. How you feeling about this matchup here, Pablo?
It's a tough one for Ditka's team. I think that the tight end play on Thursday night didn't really pan out, and the Philly defense also didn't help. So I think the choice is going to be Grudy McGrudenface for me. But you never know. The Sunday will be a dynamic day, and we might see Justin Fields. Maybe
he'll ball out.
Yeah, maybe he'll go to London and show everybody what he's got. He has been doing very well for fantasy, so you never know. Let's keep an eye on it. don't lose faith, Tina. You never know what could happen.
That's right, Tina. Keep the faith, but I am picking Grudy McRudin face. Sorry,
Same.
Tina. But keep the faith there. Keep the faith. All right, our last matchup here in this league, Keith's cool team versus Super Lamario Brothers, the league champ from last year. Wayne's team, Super Lamario Brothers. Keith sitting at number 6 spot with 2-3, and Wayne sitting at 2-3 in the number 10 spot. Right now, Keith's cool team, the projected winner, 154 over 143. Looking down the lineups, Josh Allen versus Caleb Williams, A.J. Brown versus Michael Pittman. We had Zay Flowers, Wandale Robinson, who had a nice night, 84 receiving yards, 1 touchdown, getting 20 points there. A.J. Brown, we were talking a little bit before, he had 80 receiving yards, and he got 14 points there as well. DK Metcalf going up against DJ Moore, Kyron Williams, Derrick Henry, Quinshaw Junkins, Alvin Kamara, who we were talking about is questionable right now to play. He is dealing with an ankle injury that he had gotten in Wednesday's practice. So keep an eye on that, guys. David Njoku in there, Sam Laporta, Travis Etienne. We were talking about Etienne before, Javonte Williams. And in the Superflex, Justin Herbert, Cooper Rush. And then defenses, we got Cleveland and Denver. I like the way both these teams are looking, man. Although I got to be honest with you, I love, listen, Josh Allen going into Atlanta. I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's a good potential for points there, but I like both sides here. I feel like this is going to be a much closer game than this projection here. But I'm feeling Keith's cool team on this one. But where are you at, Pablo?
I think the same. I think that Wayne's team, the champ, had a good start. Wandale did exceed his projection, so that's always a great way to start out your matchup. But Cooper Rush is definitely a guy that is the weak link here on his team. He didn't have a good start last weekend. It doesn't necessarily mean that he'll also have a bad game this week, but it's really, really, really tough. That's an extremely difficult player to start and put faith in. I think for picks, my choice would be to pick Keith's school team for the win. On Lamario Brothers' side, I'm also a manager of Derrick Henry, and he hasn't been doing it. Hopefully this week he gets it done, but Lamario needs a lot of help to get through this weekend.
All right, well, there you go. Both of us on Keith's cool team. So that wraps up our picks for the LOEMP League. They are officially in. Let's move over to our other league here that we're both in, which is the Dirt Invitational. The Dirt Invitational. Love it. All right, so we've got bunch of the league here is a little bit more, not as close, but we still got a lot of 2 and 3 teams and a lot of 3 and 2 teams here in this league. So right now, sitting in the first spot, show me your TDs at 4-1. Ginger Ninja at 4-1. Sharkbait, our league winner from last year, sitting at 3-2. Your team, my friend, Uruguay, sitting at 3-2, and then the fourth spot, BMF at 3-2, and Prima Dolas Matador at 3-2. In the number 6 spot, I am in the 9th spot at 2-3. But we've got 4 3-2 teams, 4 2-3 teams, and 2 1-4 teams. And of course, we were saying two 4-1 teams up at top. But this one is interesting too, man. There's still a lot of room left to make some improvements.
For sure. No, it's looking very, very intense right now. One thing I want to point out: our current 2-time back-to-back Turd Trophy holder is in first place.
That's right.
An excellent, excellent job to make his way out of this season's consolation bracket. So keep up the good work, Chris. It's looking great.
He's doing great. Yeah. No turd trophy this year, hopefully.
It doesn't look like it. I'm sure there's a lot of celebrating going on over at the Carr household. So yeah, let's see how things end up this year, but it's looking good right now.
Yeah, awesome. So, all right, well, let's go through it. Let's start. Our game of the week, as chosen by Yahoo for this week, is Primo Dolas Matador versus Ginger Ninja. So let's take a look there, and we'll start right there. Right now, Ginger Ninja, the projected winner, Heather's team at sitting in second place right now at 153 to Primo de las Moradora, Mikey's team at 124. He's sitting in the sixth spot. Looking down our lineups here, Bo Nix, Patrick Mahomes, Devontae Adams, Alec Aomore, George Pickens, Quentin Johnson, Jonathan Taylor, Kyron Williams, J.K. Dobbins, Breece Hall, Hunter Henry, Tyler Warren. We were talking before with some Chris Olave action there, Matthew Golden in our Superflex spot. Jaden Daniels going up against Tyquan Thornton. That's somebody who's been hanging out in a waiver wire, basically looking like the potential number 2 there in KC for now. But then looking at our defenses here, New Orleans and New England. How you feeling, man? I feel like Heather's team is looking strong. Looking strong here.
Her team is. I think the big piece here is that Superflex spot, not having a second quarterback option for this week. He's got he's got a uphill battle at the moment. He's got CJ Stroud on a bye. That's really why that's happening. So the projection is really, really in Ginger Ninja's favor, who has a great team. There's a reason she's in second place. Heather's been doing awesome. And I think Primo de los Matador is going to get a real big run for his money.
I think so.
His team is strong, but that Superflex spot might be a little too much for him to overcome.
Yeah, so I am also going with Ginger Ninja on this pick as well. So there you go. That's Yahoo's game of the week here in our fantasy league. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to set this up, Pablo. The Dirt League. Just to remind everybody how the Dirt League is set up, as we just went through the first game there. But before we go any further, let everybody know how the Dirt League is set up.
All right, so we got a 12-team league here, half PPR, Superflex as well, with IDP players. As we were able to see, we got some individual defensive players that we're able to start there. And we do have kickers in this league, so go Kickers.
Go Kickers. Go Kickers. That's for you, Tina, keeping the kickers. All right, let's move on to our next matchup here. Sharkbait, our league winner from last year, who's sitting in third place at 3-2, versus my brother's team, a Swift Kick of Love, who's sitting at 2-3 in that 10th spot, which is, poop trophy contention there. For now. Still early, though. But looking at it, right now, Sharkbait is the projected winner at 144 versus 130 on the other side. Looking down lineups, Justin Herbert versus Drake May, Puka Nacua, and Tat McMillan. Debo, who we were talking about before, versus Ibuka. Ashton Genty versus Quayshawn Judkins, David Montgomery, Chase Brown, Travis Kelce to David Njoku, Jalen Waddle, Romeo Doubs, all names we've been talking about here all day. Justin Fields and Tua in the Superflex spots, and then we got Los Angeles D going up against Seattle D. All right, what do you think here? Does the league champ have a shot?
I think so. I think Sharkbait's team is super strong. Shout out to Sharkbait. Last week, I was able to beat his team. It was a rematch from our Super Bowl. I got a little revenge because he beat me in the big game last season.
He did, yeah.
But
revenge game.
He scored the second highest points of the week, and unfortunately still lost. It all came down to that last-minute Hail Mary that Patrick Mahomes threw, and I was sweating it all the way down to the last play on Monday night. So shout out to Sharkbait. His team is super strong. He's going to be my pick here for the win.
All right. Yeah, I am also going to pick Sharkbait on this one, too. I think his team is really strong. I mean, I love players on both sides here, but I just feel like he's got enough firepower. Also, note, he's another Debo Samuel owner, which is somebody you're going to have to watch. He was listed as a limited participant on Friday's practice report. But he did, noted though, he did play through the same injury last week. So, and he still caught 8 out of 11 targets and had 96 yards. So, and a touchdown. So he'll likely play right now against the Bears. You got a little time, but still keep an eye on it because you never know. Something could happen. But there you go on that one. All right, let's keep it going. Show me your TDs. Our current first place team in our league. Chris's team, as we were talking about, 2-time Poop Trophy winner, now currently sitting in first place versus Pam's team, Bodie McBoatface, sitting at 1-4, the absolute inverse. An 11th spot. However, projections are very close. 145 to 141. Not a lot of separation. Both teams already having their QB1s go. Jalen Hurts on one side on TD side, and then Jackson Dart going on Bodie's side. Not a bad start to the week for both these teams. So right now, Pam is in the slate lead. But when we go down, Keenan Allen going up against Brian Thomas, Xavier Worthy, DK Metcalf, Javonte Williams, Bill, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, Josh Jacobs, Bijan Robinson, Jake Tongs, somebody we didn't talk about today, but I did pick him up as well, and he has been targeted a bunch of weeks in a row. So I also picked him up. Projections on him are very low, but he seems to be a very favorable target right now. Going up against Dalton Kincaid, Zay Flowers, Khalil Shakir, and in our super flex spots, Baker Mayfield going up against Kyler Murray. And we were talking about Kyler Murray before. We've talked about him. Right now, questionable with a foot injury. So for all you Kyler Murray owners out there, keep an eye on that because he may not play. Worth picking up Jacoby Brissett, as we were saying before. In India and looking at defenses, Indianapolis, Cleveland D. Pablo, where are you at, buddy? This is a close one. This is definitely close.
So it is close. It is close. The projections right now have it super close, but I think Chris's team, Show Me Your Touchdowns, is going to come out with a win here. He's got a super strong team. He's got excellent. Look at his bench, man. Rico
I know.
he can't fit him into the lineup because his team is that good.
I know.
He's got Jalen Warren also with no injury designation this week, back as the starting running back for Pittsburgh. And again, he can't find a spot because the team is that good. I would maybe look out for Zay Flowers. That's been the one guy on his team that I've been, I have him in some other team, has been the one that's worries me the most.
Also listed as questionable too, by the way.
Yeah, and getting, hoping to receive balls from Cooper Rush. That's a tough one. But overall, I think that I would choose Show Me Your Touchdowns, especially with Pam having that Kyler situation that she's got to keep an eye on.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel that way too. I feel like, especially if Kyler doesn't play, I mean, she has some options here on her bench. I mean, she could slot in a Jerry Jeudy there, or even a Darren Waller in that spot, I believe, in that super flex spot. So, I mean, she has a few options to play with, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to overcome this and get the victory. So I will also go with Show Me Your TDs as well, touchdowns on that one. So, all right. That's that for that. Now let's go back up top here. So we've already done 3 out of the 6 matchups here in our 12-person league. Going to my team here, the Killer Beers. I'm sitting in a number 9 spot, just on the bubble of that poop trophy contention. I'm sitting at 2-3 in the 9 spot versus Moose Knuckles, another 2-3 team who's sitting at number 7. Right now, Moose Knuckles projected winner 140 over 130. But let's look at our lineups here. I am starting Jared Goff. He's got Trevor Lawrence and Jamar Chase, who we've been talking about. Right now, questionable with an illness. So, boy, oh boy. I just can't win here with Jamar Chase recently. Going up against Stephon Diggs. DJ Moore, I'm starting him. Going up against A.J. Brown, who A.J. Brown already put up 11 points. Devon Achane. Going up against CMC. Kenneth Walker. Going up against James Cook, Sam Laporta, A.J. Barner. I did pick up Sterling Shepard this week, considering Chris Godwin is out. Going up against Calvin Ridley. And in our Superflex spots, Matt Stafford going up against Mac Jones. And I got Los Angeles D, and he's got Green Bay D. So, Pablo, oh, man, this is a tough one for me this week. But where are you feeling?
Yeah, you're up against it, my friend.
I'm up against it. I know. I'm feling it. I'm feeling it, man.
I definitely think the Sterling Shepard ad was a good move. I want to say that as long as Jamar Chase is on the field, you're going to have a really good fighting chance. But Moose Knuckles his team has been doing really, really well as well. Last week, James Cook didn't have a super strong game. He's up against a difficult matchup. That might be something that you might be favored with if James Cook again can't come through. On Moose Knuckles' team, Calvin Ridley. He's been the other guy that I have him in a couple leagues. He's been a disappointment. He's been a guy that
Right.
He had a strong week last week, but other than that, he had been doing nothing. So if he can keep up what he did last week, then maybe Moose Knuckles will be in better shape. This one here, it's close. It's close. I think that I'm gonna pick the killer beers for the win, but it's a really
going with the underdog here.
Yeah, razor thin though. I think it's going to be really close, but I'll take the chance saying the underdog comes out with the victory.
Thank you very much. I will, of course, will also pick my team as well. Now, I did make a couple of pickups. I just want to get super quick while we're talking here. I did pick up a Ryan Florney this week, or Flornow, however you say his name. Now, he had a big game last week. Had 114 yards, and with CeeDee Lamb and Kevontae Turpin out, he has stepped up to lead the Cowboys in receiving yards. Now, I know George Pickens has been a go-to. But he could put up 15 fantasy points last week against the Jets. Now, they are going into Carolina. I picked him up. He's on my bench at the moment. But is he somebody... is that somebody should pick up in their leagues if he's sitting on a waiver wire? That's one. And two, is he a guy you think I should start potentially this week? Or just chill and hold on to him on my bench? Just love to get your quick thoughts.
So absolutely must pick up that player. It's great bench stash for sure, especially because CeeDee's off the field right now. Everybody's hoping to get him back, but who knows what that looks like.
Right.
And should there be any other injury, this guy has proven that he's a startable wide receiver for the Dallas team. So most certainly must have he shouldn't be out on the waiver wire or the free agency. Now, whether you start him this week, that's a really huge dice roll. It might pay out. Last week he did well. So, depending on what your options are or what anyone else's options are out there, he can be a guy you can take a chance on, especially if you need the upside.
Yeah.
And if you're the underdog, that might not be a bad play to throw into your lineup.
There you go. Words of wisdom there from the guru himself. All right, let's keep it going here with our picks. But yes, thank you for picking my team, even though I'm the underdog. I appreciate it. All right, well, hey man, you got a matchup here too. The Uruguay, you're sitting in the fourth spot at 3-2 versus the Sicilians, who unfortunately are not having a great season, sitting at 1-4 right now in 12th spot. Definite poop trophy contention at the moment. Tina's been having a hard time this year with between buys and injuries. But looking at our lineups here, Geno Smith going up against Bryce Young, JSN, Jackson Smith-Njigba going up against Cortland Sutton, Drake London going up against Michael Pittman, Derrick Henry. Thank God she had Cam Scatterbo because that got her some nice 29 points there. Rashid White, Kareem Hunt, who's not projected right now to have a good game, but we will see with there. Trey McBride going up against Tucker Kraft. And Garrett Wilson and Theo Johnson. And while I'd say this is a really good pickup for Tina, Theo Johnson did not have a good fantasy game for the Giants, so only 3 points. Did not do her any favors. Currently, her Superflex spot is empty, so I'm sure she'll fix that when she can. But you're rolling Josh Allen in your Superflex, and you're rolling the Las Vegas Raiders D. And she started Philly, and as we talked about before, Philly D did not have a good night. Only 2 points for her, not helping her out. Now, if we do look on her bench, she does have Dylan Gabriel sitting there, and I'm sure she'll make that move and put him in. Unfortunately, she's got Brock Purdy, who's out, and Omarion Hampton out on IR. But she does have a Pacheco as well on her bench. So she's got some good options, and you, my friend, have a lot of nice options as well. You got some good trade bait sitting on your bench, by the way. I do want to call that out. You got some good trade bait sitting there. But how you feeling, bud? I mean, you got to be feeling pretty okay right now. Even if she makes the move to put Dylan Gabriel in, I think you should be feeling pretty good.
I am. Yeah, I think my team is looking good right now. The Sicilians has been decimated with injury. She's the manager of Omarion Hampton, Brock Purdy, Brock Bowers, CeeDee Lamb. Like, it's really tough to overcome.
Really hard, man. She's had a tough,
bad luck.
Tough run this year.
Yeah. It hasn't been kind and generous with Tina's team, but she had Cam Scatterbo as well. That's definitely a bright spot on her team. Yeah. And I think once she throws in Dylan Gabriel into the Superflex, things will look a little bit better. Kareem Hunt's not projected to do much, but he's been the running back on Kansas City who's been having more success. She also has Pacheco, but I think I'm with Tina here. I would start Hunt over Pacheco if I had him.
Yeah, I mean, last week he against Jacksonville, he put up 16.5 points. Now going into Detroit, we know Detroit's a little bit tougher of a defense, but they've got some injuries going, and it's a Sunday night game, so it's a good rivalry game for these two teams. So we'll see. I think he's. I think I would roll with that too. I mean, he rushed 7 times for 49 yards last week and 2 touchdowns, by the way. So, and they still lost that game, but I think that that's a good move. I would do it too.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'll definitely pick my team, even though she has more points on the board at the moment. But I'll pick Uruguay for the win on this one.
I will also go with Uruguay as well for the win. I agree. I think it's just too much to overcome, unfortunately. So, all right, here is our last lineup, our last matchup of the day. We have Manja, who's sitting in 8th place with 2-3, versus BMF, who's sitting at 3-2 in the 5th spot. Very, very tight projections, 121 to 119. Fortunately, Manja had some players go already, did not do her much favors, but looking at our QB lineups, she's rolling with Dak Prescott. Jordan Love, Rubin's rolling with Jordan Love on the other side. Marvin Harrison, Amon-Ra. She had Devontae Smith, who only gave her 6 points, going up against Rome Adunza. Saquon Barkley, who we're talking about, only gave her 7 points, going up against Kenneth Gainwell. Then we've got Jamar Gibbs, Trayvon Henderson, then Harold Fannin Jr., Jake Ferguson, Travis Etienne Jr., Cooper Kupp, and Caleb Williams and Spencer Rattler in the Superflex spots. Right now, she has no kicker. Kicker is empty, so we'll see if she rectifies that. But in our defenses, Pittsburgh, looking at Detroit. So how's this shaping up for you? And she's got some nice options on her bench, by the way. Just want to say her bench is not too shabby.
Yeah, no, she definitely has a good team. I saw her running around this morning, rushing to get her phone because of some kicker talks we were having.
Right.
When I found my kicker was out for the week with an injury, so that reminded her her kicker has on a bye, and she didn't want to let go of the kicker, so right now hasn't picked up a replacement yet, but I'm sure she'll take care of that.
I'm sure she will.
Ruben's team is good. I think he's the underdog in this matchup, although it's super close. It's only the projections are only 2 points apart, but I think his running back room struggles a little bit, and he's depending on Spencer Rattler at that super flex spot. I think that's a big challenge as well. He's got some of the big guns on his bench. Justin Jefferson on a bye.
I mean,
he questionable.
Dallas Goedert on his bench, 21 points.
Yeah, that hurts. That definitely hurts. But it's still, happens. It's anyone's game here, really.
Now, I got a question for you, my friend.
Yeah.
He has Joe Flacco on his bench.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you had the option, would you, in the Superflex spot, would you put him in versus Spencer Rattler? Who do you feel more comfortable with? Just out of, I don't know if anybody else out there is dealing with a similar situation. But do you bench Rattler and start Flacco, or do you reverse that?
I think that's a really, really great question because of how difficult it is, because Rattler is not a great option. But me personally, I side on liking Joe Flacco even less. First game on a new team in an extremely adverse environment, going into Green Bay against
an aggressive defense.
Micah Parsons is going to come out to try to get him.
Forget it. Big X on his back, man.
Yeah. So I would definitely leave Flacco on the bench if he was on my team.
So in this case, if your choice is Spencer Rattler, or Joe Flacco, Spencer Rattler is your start.
That is.
All right. So sit Joe Flacco. So for anybody else out there dealing with that dilemma, there you go. Yeah. All right. So who are you picking in this one, my friend?
So it's close, but I'm going to go with Manja for the win.
Yeah, this is really close. Really, really close. And even though she didn't get much help from 2 of her starters, I do feel like she's got enough going on to help her overcome. Although I do the quarterback matchup is, very favorable on both sides. So this is going to be interesting to see Dak and Jordan, who's going to have a better game, or if they're going to kind of cancel each other out. So this will be interesting. And I want to go with the underdog, but I am going to go with Manja on this one. I feel like Manja's got some magic in the tank and is going to pull this one out.
There you go.
Especially with that kicker. When she gets that kicker. Oof.
Yeah. Well,
put her over the top. But yeah, I mean,
yeah.
how many times does that happen where it's like, the kicker's been the one to save the game, on a lot of these fantasy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see the kicker outscore Joe Flacco.
You know what? You might be right about that. So, all right, guys. Well, hey, that wraps it up. That's it. Those are our picks in. We've picked the Dirt League. We picked the LOMP League. Hopefully, you found that entertaining and helpful as you are looking at your own lineups and deciding who you're going to start, sit, pick up on waiver wire, make trades. I mean, here we are, week 6, man. If you haven't made any trades yet and you need a little extra help and the waiver wire is decimated, start looking to put together some trade packages. This is the time. Don't wait. It is week 6, so now's the time to really make some good upgrades to your team, especially if you need it with all these injuries out there, if you're rolling in a super flex league, all these things. So take a look at it. Don't be afraid to make the trade. Put a package together and just go for it, because if you don't ask, you won't receive. And just because they deny it the first time doesn't mean they may not counteroffer. So if they deny it, put it out there. Say, well, what would you do? Ask them, what are you looking for? Don't just let it lie. Like, ask ask for a counteroffer.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of trades, and I really am convinced that the more trades we make, we're not going to get them all right.
No,
but the more we make trades, the better we get at making trades.
Yeah,
so just keep doing them, and don't sweat it if you get one wrong. Just keep going at it,
right?
And it'll get better. You'll make your team better and better.
Right. But on the inverse, don't just make a trade to make a trade. Like, the trade should actually help you upgrade your team. For this week, I made a trade just because I really needed there's nobody on quarterback waiver wire between injuries, and I really needed a QB for week 8. And so I made a trade. I thought it was pretty even at first, but hey, Chris Godwin's out, but hey, you know what? Maybe he'll be back, and maybe that'll be a good trade later on. Either way, it helped me. So you can say what it want, but I got a quarterback now for week 8. So I at least, may not go down in flames that week.
Absolutely.
But yeah. All right. Well, hey, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching the Touchdown Talk. Of course, once again, remember, hit that subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube. We're also available on all podcast platforms. So if you missed this episode, if you want to go back, rewatch it, re-listen to it, it will be available about an hour or so on all podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, and all the places where you love to listen to podcasts. Of course, thank you, Radio Garden State, for syndicating the show between 10 and 11 o'clock. Follow us over at the Touchdown Talk over on Facebook, and of course on Instagram at the Touchdown Talk NJ. So follow us over there too. We have a lot of fun there on our Instagram account. So, but you got to put on. It's Touchdown Talk NJ. That's it on Instagram. Sorry, I keep saying the Touchdown Talk, but it's Touchdown Talk NJ over on Instagram. Any final words, my friend?
Good luck to everybody out there with your teams. We're getting into a big week 6 here. We're almost at the halfway mark of the regular season. So, it's time to start looking at not only the win for this week, but looking ahead at what the rest of the season matchups look like, what those playoff matchups look like. Start looking ahead, making trades to acquire those players that you want on your team, and good luck.
There you go. All right, everybody have a good rest of your weekend. Set those lineups. And remember, early game tomorrow, 9:30 a.m., Denver Broncos versus the New York Jets. So don't forget to set your lineup tonight, and get up early tomorrow and check your lineup. Make sure everybody's still playing. Got a lot of questionable tags right now, so make sure you check that out. All right, everyone. We will see you next week, 10 a.m. right here, the Touchdown Talk. Cheers, everyone.